Hi guys, Anna Brandt here. Originally we were going to do a webinar today, so thank you for those who registered for the webinar. And then we decided that a lot of people were confused on what we were doing, where we were doing it, what we were doing. I haven't been live in a little bit, so we decided to just stream it everywhere. So we're on YouTube and we're in the photographers Facebook group, and I posted the YouTube link everywhere. So the next question is going to be, are we recording? We are. We always do. I have Alex right here by my side. And the recording will most likely go in the members site, and perhaps we'll put the recording on YouTube. I'm not quite sure yet. So if you're watching this live, you can ask us any question you want. I just wanted to kind of go over basics of newborn photography because it's a question that I get asked every single day. People will call the studio and say to Alex, oh, I just have a quick question for Anna. And Alex will say, yeah, what is it? And they'll be like, how do I get started in newborn photography? And Alex will be like, it might take a hot minute for us to get back to you about that. I have so many resources. So for those of you who don't know me, I'll just tell you a brief intro of who I am. My name is Anna Brandt, and I am going on 22 years of being a newborn photographer. I've been teaching, I believe, for about 12. I really wish I could go back and look at when I had my very first workshop, when I had absolutely zero idea what I was doing. People ask me where I got my training from, and it wasn't from a newborn photographer. In fact, I've never been trained by a newborn photographer. My training has been traditional photography training. I've taken tons and tons of in-person courses right at colleges and universities on how to do photography itself. When I needed to learn lighting, I took a lighting intensive workshop that was just specifically about portrait lighting. So where does my newborn experience come from? Just living it and working it for almost 22 years. I've only stopped 3 times in my career, and that was to have my children, who are now 16, 18, and 20. They've never been professionally trained in newborn photography, but I'm pretty sure each one of them could probably master their own newborn session after watching me for so many years. My son, you can find him at evanbrandtmedia.com, has been building his own studio. He travels the world filming documentaries, and he has his own studio that will be going up for rent pretty soon, and he provides commercial work as well as filming and video. My daughter Olivia is in college, her first year of college, and she's been helping me with my TikToks. She's a fabulous editor in videos, and she's actually considering minoring in film. Her major is psychology right now. Ava, my youngest, who's 16, actually does voiceovers on Fiverr, and she's also an actress. And she is a junior in school, but she's our horseback rider, so that kind of takes precedence over everything else. All of them can film, create, edit, and really find different ways to use their voice. So I'm privileged to be their mother. My career has been very consistent. And so when a lot of people ask or maybe wonder how I got where I am, to me, it's pure consistency in the field. I think if you're in any fields for the length of time that I've been in this field, you would be the same. People would know who you were, people would know what you specialize in, and I think that consistency is the key to success. And this could be for better or for worse. I consistently forget things. I have forgotten my laptop bag 3 times this week at home. Why? I can't tell you, but my children will say, well, Mom, you're very consistent. And I'll say, yeah, I'm very consistent. I think it's because I have 3 dogs and 3 children, and I'm trying to get my youngest out to school, and there's just always something to be done, and my laptop bag gets left behind. Who knows? I'm a busy photographer, just like many of you. As I speak to you, I have clients in my email saying, where is my order? Where are my images? I have voicemails to tend to, and a very busy business. So I'm doing what you're doing, what many of you are doing, or what many of you maybe wish to be doing if you're watching this. I'm juggling parenthood, running a business, and traveling as well. I'm told I'm wearing a tank top, so I don't care if it's going to move. It's going to move as I move, so I'm okay. It's not a bra, it's just a tank top. We're just here all together. Was it? Should I just do it like this and it'll be a totally different channel? I don't want to get like an explicit rating or whatever. So I uploaded to Issue must-haves for maternity photography. and I have an explicit rating on it, and I can't figure out why. The only thing maybe is there's a maternity woman in a bodysuit, but I don't know if you've scrolled Instagram lately. I see all sorts of things on Instagram. Butts in my face, boobs in my face, bellies in my face. I see it all, and I just simply published a guide on must-have things for maternity photography. You can find it on Issue. And yeah, it has an explicit warning. So who knows, maybe this will get an explicit warning as well. So we haven't really been live in a while, and we're gonna be getting back to Q&As. We were trying to do Q&As. We were trying to do like every other week, every week. I don't know, but we'll get back to it. It's been busy because I've been trying to get a lot of my travel condensed. I've been traveling a lot domestic this year, although I was able to go to Dubai, so that was exciting. Because I knew that next year my travel would include a lot more international. So I don't even know how many workshops I've done this year. I'm gonna have to go back and look. Maybe, I don't even know, but I have my 7th Baby Academy in a year next week in California, my 7th Baby Academy. The Academy is a 4-day intensive workshop, and it's intense. If you're coming to the Academy next week, get ready. If you've been to the first 6 academies, they'll tell you how intense it is and all the homework, but they'll also tell you all the laughs and cries that they had, and it was probably an amazing experience for them and for me. Workshops, you can go to workshops.annabrandt.com and see my schedule. Of course, the thing that I hear almost every time I get on a plane is, I didn't know you were in Utah. I didn't know you were in New York. Well, actually, New York, I always receive, how come New York is always sold out? In fact, I just got that message again today. Why is New York always sold out? And I don't know, it's my birthplace. I'm born and raised in New York, and I love going there. How many times have we been in New York this year, Alex? Do you even know? I don't even know.
Probably at least like 5, maybe.
No, more than that.
I said at least. So technically, that's still true.
I feel like way more than that. Anyway, we leave for New York this weekend. Very, very, very short trip for my last New York workshops of the year. We do have New York workshops for next year, but they sell out. They sell out anywhere from 4 to 6 months in advance or the minute I announce them. So I do know that I opened up a baby club in March, which is hands-on, 100% hands-on. And so you can check that out. I believe the baby clinic is already sold out, but please just go to workshops.annabrandt.com. I am working on a new website, aren't I always? AnnaBrandtEducation.com is in development right now. You can go there, and it will have the portal for all of my education, because it's a mess. It's like, where's this, where's this, where's that? And workshops.annabrandt.com is clunky. It's built on WordPress, and it's just chunky, clunky. I've had it for years. Thousands of students have submitted the registration at workshops.annabrandt.com, but it's just too clunky for us to do all the things we want to do. So I moved to Squarespace. I'm in love with Squarespace. I think we've designed 12 websites in the past 60 days in Squarespace. That's how much I love Squarespace. And so AnnaBrandtEducation.com will have updated links in the next day or two and have all the updates for all of the education worldwide. We released a new podcast this morning, so you can search Anna Brandt on iTunes. I took a year off from creating podcasts, an entire year. When I looked at my last podcast, Motivating Yourself During a Pandemic, it was September, I think, 23rd, 2020. So it's been a solid year. I needed a break. So we recorded the first 2 episodes. One we dropped this morning. The next one will be Monday. And every week we're going to record a couple of episodes in advance so that every Monday they can drop on iTunes. Ava Brandt, my daughter, recorded the intro and outro. And so every time I hear it, I just smile with big, happy, proud smile that she is on my podcast. So for years from now, I'll be able to say that she did my intro, outro. Maybe she'll have her own podcast one day. So today's purpose of this live broadcast is to go over basics of newborn photography. So here's the thing. I travel a lot, right? And I visit many, 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 many studios around the world. Been over to 32 countries. And so there are only a handful of studios that when I get there, I have everything I need. In fact, most recently, I was at Heather's studio. I can't even pronounce her last name. But if you're here, Heather, you could do a shout out to yourself. I was training at her studio and I did not unzip my suitcase. and I had a full suitcase, and it sat in the corner. So that's a huge compliment to her. We always tease Heather that she's the first to purchase anything that we do. Well, it paid off because I was able to go to her studio, little tiny studio, not big, in New York, and she had everything I needed. Everything. So thank you, Heather, for being an amazing example of just being prepared. There's another studio in Boston, Polina's studio. I think one time I was at her studio and I didn't have to unpack as well. And if you look at her walls, she has tons of certificates framed, and she's been a very loyal student over the years. So for me, I just kind of smile when I go to a student's studio, and I know they've invested thousands of dollars in props and education, and when I don't even unzip my suitcase, it's my way of respecting their space and saying, yeah, I think this space is fantastic for me to work in. I would love to travel and go to newborn studios and not take anything but my camera. That would be fantastic. I would save a lot of money on luggage fees. But usually that's not the case. I can't find the right bucket, or I usually can't even find weights. I'll go to put down the paper and I'll be like, where are your sandbags? And they'll be like, we don't have sandbags. And I'll be like, okay, where's your gaffer tape? We have no gaffer tape. Where's your duct tape? No duct tape. Where's your ladder? No ladder. Where's the yoga ball? I literally many times have to deflate my yoga ball and bring it. I will say that I send out a hostess guide to my hostesses, and many of them do have yoga balls, or I'll bring it myself. But for me, I photograph thousands of newborns a year, so I need the right tools. I want things to be super simple. When I'm holding a baby, these babies are 7, 8, 10 days, sometimes 4 days. And I have parents nearby, and sometimes nannies, and sometimes grandparents, and I'm being filmed many times by Alex, and there's a lot going on in my brain. And so for me, I need things that work really easily. I can't think about it. I can't be shoving towels underneath blankets. I can't be hoping my beanbag is full enough. I can't be wondering why the paper is curling underneath my feet. I can't be worried that the light stand is going to fall over because there's no weight on it. And so sometimes I'm in this studio 6, 7, 8 hours shooting straight. And if you've ever worked with me, you understand it, especially with the baby club students lately. They'll work 5 straight hours and not even go to the bathroom. And they'll tell me, Anna, I never even understood that until they come, and all of a sudden they're in the zone and you're kind of working. So the things that I'm showing you are what work for me. Now, obviously, as a newborn photographer, you need to do what's going to work for you. And you may say, Anna, I hate this beanbag. I use a dog bed. And I hate the dog bed. I use a table. And I roll off of a yoga ball, so I sit on the floor. And that's okay. You need to be comfortable in the tools that you use. My wish for you in newborn photography is you make sure that whatever you're using makes sense. Whatever you're using allows you to fly through a newborn session without tripping over yourself or your lights or your assistants. So feel free to ask me any question you want, and I will do my best to answer it. We're not going to be live that long, but while we're live, I'll do my best to answer any of your questions. I'll start with one of the questions that is the most popular. It's, what camera do I get? I want to start out in newborn photography. What camera do I get? Now, if you've had any kind of a workshop with me, you know I'm probably going to say Canon, right? Because if you come to a workshop and I have Canon people and Nikon, and then you throw in Sony and then Fuji. I wish I was in Fiji. Fuji. I'll say I can't help you because I don't know every camera. When I'm telling you to change white balance, I don't know where you change it in Nikon or Sony. I haven't the foggiest idea. Or when I tell you about my 9 focus points and you say, where is that? I'm like, I don't know. I know my tools. So regardless of what you use, I think my biggest advice would be learn how to use your camera. I will tell you from experience, I feel that Canon pulls more red and Nikon pulls more greens. So to me, if I was going to go to a safari in Africa, I'd probably want Nikon gear because I've seen fantastic images using Nikon gear. But then the Canon user would say, yeah, but I've been to Africa too, and I've photographed gorgeous wildlife with my Canon. I'm sure you have. So see what I mean? It really doesn't matter. Here's what does matter. I work in only manual controls. No AV, no TV, and no program mode. I'm a Canon user. I use a Canon 5D Mark IV. I also have a Canon 1DX that I use for my family sessions. And I always question it because I don't use it that often. So I always have to think, what is the name of that camera? Actually, my son had one a couple of years ago, and I was struggling with low light during the tree farm with families. I felt like I was struggling with my Mark IV, and I borrowed my son's 1DX, and it was super fast and fantastic in low light. It was a heavier camera and definitely noisier. So after using his, I was like, well, I wouldn't use this for newborn because I felt like it was too heavy and too noisy, but I would definitely use it for families. And so I ended up buying my own because for family sessions on location, the beach, I just did 7 hours at the Mission last weekend for my clients. And the tree farm where light goes behind the trees and I lose light, the 1DX is, I just love this camera. I'm a big fan of Canon gear. I basically use the 24-70 USM2 lens 99% of the time. I do have a Sigma 35 art lens that I hardly ever use. I used to use this lens when I would do in-home newborn sessions because the light wasn't always there. And so I found by using a 35 millimeter fixed lens, it would allow more light into the camera, and it's a beautiful lens. And I don't really use it in the studio anymore. I have it, it's here somewhere. I also have 50, 85. I got rid of the 70-200. It was too heavy for me. People ask me all the time when I photograph baby parts and the toes and the hands and the feet and all that, do I go to a macro lens? And the answer is no. I stay with my 24-70. People also ask, what is the range on my lens that I'm usually at? And it's usually 24. Keep in mind that when I started out, I was obsessed with 50, just like most photographers. There was a couple of years where I really did a lot of macro photography, not just with babies, but I did it with flowers, and I just loved the details. And gosh, if you would have seen me years ago in a little condo in Huntington Beach, you know, moving a flower over to the window, spraying the flower with water, and, you know, shooting macro. I have tons of photos. I used to do Polaroid emulsion transfers. I mean, you name it, I've done it. But what I quickly found was once I became busier in my photography business, I needed something that could be just as fast as I was and had an easy range. Because at any given moment, I could have a baby on the beanbag. I could turn around and say, Dad, I'm going to hand you a baby. And then I could have a sibling and be like, oh, this baby's wrapped and sleeping, lay down and get the sibling down. So I need to be able to go from a 2.8 to a 4.0 like this, and I need to be able to have the range to go from a 24 to a 70 like this. I don't have time to switch lenses, and I don't have time to switch bodies of cameras. Now, I'm 22 years in the business. I remember when I was going from film to digital, and I was terrified. I mean, terrified isn't even the word. I was so nervous. I had so much anxiety, and it's film, so I can't see anything. So I've got to rely on my technical knowledge. And then you've got triplets and you've got twins and you have families looking at you. And, you know, I felt like I don't even sweat, but I'm pretty sure I mentally sweat with every single session. And I remember the transition from film to digital was horrible. I overexposed everything because the digital cameras are much more sensitive than film. And then I remember going from 35 millimeter to medium format. That was horrible because I just made so many mistakes. So there was a time where I would shoot with two cameras. When I would transition, I would have my 35 and my medium format. And I would literally take this picture, this picture, this picture with two cameras. And it saved me many times when the medium format didn't work out and I had the 35 millimeter and vice versa. There probably isn't a mistake I haven't made in business, with clients, with lighting, with babies, everything. I mean, I'm definitely human and I make a lot of mistakes to this day. And I think the only thing I can say is I have a team that kind of looks out for me. And so Alex would be like, maybe you should do this or maybe you should do that. And it's very helpful. I mean, even Estella, English is not her first language. She's my main newborn assistant. And even she will help me from time to time where I'm just not doing something right, or I'm moving the baby and I forgot to move the light. So surround yourself with a good team and understand that the tool that you have will work. You know, when students come to my workshop, they say, what camera do I use? The one you have. Hopefully you have one in manual so you can control the settings, because I think it's important that you control your shutter and ISO. So by being in manual, you can set it. So in my workshops, if I say, oh, we're going to be at 200, 200, 2.8, you can easily set it. And for my newborns, I'm usually at 200, 200, 2.8 almost the entire time. When it comes to siblings, I'm probably 3.5 or 4. And then families, maybe around 4. It just kind of depends. I can't remember the last time I was 8, except I'm like outside in bright sun, sunny 11, all of that. Of course, I shoot natural light outside as well. Those settings are all over the place, whether I'm shooting indoor, outdoor, running around the beach, or whatever I'm doing. And that's why I think it's super important that you understand your camera. You know, you really need to understand basic functions. What is shutter? What is ISO? What is aperture? When to use them? And really understand it, because if you understand your camera, then the rest of this craziness that happens in front of your camera, you can control, because you know your gear like the back of your hand. So did I answer the question? I didn't. What camera do you use? What you can afford. And then as you go, as you grow, you're going to very quickly see what works and what doesn't. Even my son, he's obsessed with gear. And so when he first started, I kept handing him my cameras. And whatever camera I was done with, I handed it. It started with a Rebel, and then it was the Mark II, and then it was Mark III, and it was the Mark IV. And I just, every time I was done with a camera, I would hand it to my son. And he would use it, and he'd be like, yeah, but I want this. And I'd give him the next one. I want this, I want this. And then he started renting gear, because my suggestion was to rent gear before you buy it. Because if you buy it, then you're married and you're already stuck in, and you've got to separate it all. Rent it, rent camera, rent lens, go to your local camera shop, or talk to the camera technicians who work at camera shops, are amazing, and say, look, this is what I'm doing. And I suggest having a range before having a fixed lens, because with a fixed lens, you're stuck with the 35 or the 50 or whatever, the 24, whatever it is you need to move. With a range, your lens moves. So start with what you can afford and then just upgrade from there. Did I say that all in one sentence? Yeah?
You said a lot.
So, any questions before I move on?
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out a good spot to interrupt you.
I know. I could tell by looking at your face, but I'm like, I'm just not going to take a breath, and I'll just keep going, and then I'll say it. Are there questions?
You're going to go on for forever. To begin with, there was a lot of hellos, hi, and we love you. Anna, you look beautiful, from somebody. I don't remember who.
Oh, thank you.
Heather says she loves you.
My hair is, hi Heather, is pulled back tight because I'm going to my hairdresser tonight. And she does Japanese straightening like twice a year. And so she was like, don't do your hair. Don't do it. Don't curl it. Wash it. Pull it back. I was like, yes, boss. So that's why I don't really like my hair pulled back this tight, but that's why my hair is pulled back. And I'm wearing really baggy clothes today because I was telling Alex, I just didn't feel like getting dressed today. I just had clothes, and we don't get along. That's why I wear black every day. People ask if black is, am I touching my thing?
Like the entire time.
Sorry. If people ask if my black is part of branding, I'm like, no, it's because I don't want to think when I'm in the closet. I have enough in my career, so I just walk in my closet, and my entire top row is all black. If you walk to my closet right now, the entire top row, and then the second row is gray and burgundy, not much, and brown. So I have super baggy clothes because I didn't want to get dressed today. So that's what you have. It wasn't even a question.
No, it was not.
Okay, I'm ready.
You kind of already answered this, but would this YouTube video be available later to view?
To who?
To Mana Saman Pere.
It will be. Where it will be available?
Well, they're asking specifically about the YouTube video.
Oh, I
Would
mean,
be
she
available
just
on YouTube.
reposted on YouTube? Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as I behave myself.
Okay. Next question. Hello from Long Island. 9 focus points is a game changer. Are you going to transition to Canon mirrorless system?
I mean, if I have to. Do I have to?
Not really.
Not really. Here's the thing. I am not quick You know, I meet some photographers, and every time you see them, they have like the latest gear. That is not me. I will use my gear till it dies and falls apart in my lap. So when we first came back from COVID, and I was a little rusty from teaching, and I did a maternity beach workshop, and I'm pretty sure it was 2 minutes after the lifeguard told us the tide was coming that I decided to put my camera in the sand. I was going through a lot in my defense, okay? And sure enough, there came the tide, and there went my 5D Mark IV swimming in the ocean. And I just was like, oh my gosh. So it was pretty bad. I didn't think it was going to recover. So I ended up buying, just the same thing. I bought another 5D Mark IV with another 24 to 70. And we finally took the one that went for a swim to Canon, and they cleaned it up quite nicely. I think it was like $700 that I paid because I'm a Canon member, and there was a discount, and it's like pretty much brand new, and it's a fantastic camera. So now we have a good backup camera. And so I just bought the same thing, and a lot of people would say, oh, well, now is a good time to upgrade. That would be my son. He loves to upgrade, change, you name it. He's a gearhead. Me, I mean, I won't switch to a new camera until my 5D doesn't do what I want it to do anymore. I mean, there's just no reason for me to. It's not like Canon is calling me going, Anna, do you want to use this camera? If they were, I'd use it. But I don't know. I can't say no. I'm sure I'm going to have a new camera eventually because the Mark IV is going to move on. So, but right now I'm very happy with it. So, no. Was there a question on focus points?
No, it's just a
She
comment.
was just saying.
Yeah, that they
So
like
I don't do
mindful.
single point focus at all. I do 9 focus points. So in my camera, if you look in the back of my camera, and I can show you if you need to see it, I have 9 points. So during workshops, people are always like, where's your focus point? If I have a baby, I'm like, well, it's basically covering the whole baby's face. And then on a maternity, I'll usually be like, oh, I'm in the center, unless it's like a maternity laying down and it's nude. You'll see me, well, not even nude, but you'll see me move the points over to the face because I don't want to just be on the belly. It just depends on the aperture that I'm using. But I like 9 focus points. I don't have to think about anything. If I had to use a single focus point, I would die. I'd be like, I can't even see half the time. I'd be like, where's my focus point? I wear contacts, but I never wear contacts. I have contacts and glasses. And when was the last time you saw me in either?
Not even, I don't remember.
Okay, in my defense, I have been wearing my glasses at night when I'm driving because Ava's like, Mama, I don't think you can see very well. I'm like, yeah, I really can't. So when it gets really dark, I have glasses in my car. And then contacts, I did just recently put contacts in my travel bag, Alex, because I felt like there's a couple times where I don't travel with you and I'm at a big airport and I can't see. So I did put contacts. Is that Ava Brandt?
It is.
Ava Brandt. Ava Brandt's from school today. Did you hear my podcast, Ava? She probably didn't.
Next question. This is on Facebook. Let me see who.
We're live today. I said, did you hear the podcast?
Lena says, can you share tips for recording BTS with your camera? I see Alex recording a lot. Can he tell us his settings and gear setup?
Ava, go turn the camera on Alex.
I want to
because I can't answer the question. Just don't get the mess behind him. I'm packing for New York. Ava's in the house. Ava, just go down on Alex, not my mess behind him. All right, Ava.
Do you know how to focus?
Yeah, because I'm terrible. Wait, can I just say?
There's a knob on the side.
Can I just say I'll even sit next to him? I was at, where was I recently? Virginia. And asked my students how many times it took me to record BTS video. Ask them, they'll tell you. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna record this for TikTok for Olivia. And then I do the whole thing. I even talked through it and I didn't hit the record button. And then even the model's parents was like by the 3rd time, he's like, did you hit record? So yeah, don't ask me about recording BTS video because I can't help you. I'm terrible at video. So Alex.
It won't be
you
easy.
can see my mess back there.
Not really.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm packing for New York, so it's a mess.
If you're trying to do it with your own camera, it's going to be a little bit difficult, especially if you're using a studio light, because your white balance is going to fluctuate between the photos and the video. Because when you're taking photos, you'll be on the white balance from the light you're using, but when you're doing video, you'll be on the white balance from your ambient light. and they're usually not the same. And then your camera settings are also not going to be the same. So it might be a little difficult. So I'd probably suggest doing it on your phone. If you want to do BTS, it'll probably be easier. As far as my gear setup, I have it's a video camera that I'm using. It's a Blackmagic Cinema Pocket 6K Pro. So probably a little overboard for just doing BTS. But it's a great camera. It's what we're using right now to stream.
Oh, wait, did you give him a tip?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. I zoned out a little bit there.
She never really listens to me. Okay, you can turn it back.
I was like, wait, did I hear the tip? It's like listening to my own podcast. I kept zoning out during my own podcast.
Alex, right here.
Huh?
Right there. Like, is it big?
Focus, yeah, we're
Oh,
good.
yeah, but
Just focus. What was next? Which lenses do you use for family portraits?
24 to 70 USM2.
You'll see it scrolling on the bottom. That's pretty much all she uses. It's just the 5D Mark IV with the 24 to 70. On occasion, the 1DX.
Yeah.
If it's outdoors. Can you travel to a home session with one suitcase only? My struggle is bringing too much with me. I need help to minimize everything I bring with me. Thank you.
Yeah, I have done it many times. So this is what I tell my clients. Pick 3 colors, one being a neutral. Now keep in mind, right before COVID shut down, everything is like pre-COVID, after COVID. It's like we need an acronym for pre-COVID, after COVID. You know what I mean? Like BC, what is it? BC, before Christ, after Christ. You know, anyway. I finished my last newborn session right before COVID, so I no longer do home newborn sessions. But I would say to the clients, pick 3 colors, one being a neutral. So let's say it's white, cream and gray, or pink, tan, and white. So one being a neutral of cream or white. And then I would say pick 3 props. So maybe a bowl, bucket, and then if they liked beanbag shots, I would maybe use a bed or a sofa. I stopped bringing a beanbag, and I stopped bringing lights. Because for so many years, I would lug my lights, backdrop stand, weights, tape, you name it. And then I realized I have a studio that I pay good rent for. What's the point of that? So then I decided I'm just going to shoot in natural light, no longer bring studio lights, and just bring the basics. And when I'm doing those 3 colors, I have 3 transitions per color. So if it's a pink set, I probably have 2 pink wraps, maybe 3. I probably have 2 bonnets and a headband. I maybe have like 2 outfits. And I'll have like fluff and accessories, maybe flowers, so that I can take those items in that set of 3 and give 4 to 6 looks and things like that. So I think it's just time, to be honest with you. When I first did home newborn sessions, I'd spend an hour packing my car, you name it, light stand, lights, everything. And then as the years went with each child, I had to shed some weight. And to the point where even traveling, keep in mind, I'm still traveling. So, you know, I travel all over the world. We're getting ready to go to New York tomorrow night. And I'm already overpacked in my mind because we're shooting at Central Park. And I have 2 baby clubs and a baby clinic. So that's a lot of babies. And I have a lot. So I'll probably overpack this weekend. But I think that just over the time, when you're laying out the outfits, think, how can I have a variety of things in the cream, in the pink, and the blue, and things like that. And it's just time. Don't bring too much.
I have white paper background, and it gets dirty with footprints easily. How do you prevent it?
Okay, so we do and we don't. So I wear socks when we're shooting. We all wear socks in here because our clients don't want our dirty feet everywhere. So I'm on white paper, as you know, and I have footprints, especially because I'm wearing shoes right now. So I'm making footprints as we speak. You can, unless, because unless families aren't going to wear shoes in a session. If they're not going to wear shoes in a session, then I would have a whole basket of socks for my clients, and just when they arrive, give them socks to wear so that you don't have that problem. But paper is kind of cheap. I mean, this is a 12-foot roll. What do we pay for a 12-foot roll?
They're not actually cheap.
Oh.
They're like $20.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is a $200 roll. But Alex, what's a 9-foot roll of paper?
The 9-foot's like 150-ish.
Okay, well, I still think that's pretty cheap.
I mean, yeah,
Compared to
grand
how
scheme
many
of things,
times you
yeah.
use it.
Yeah.
I feel like how many times you use it. And you can flip the paper over. You know,
at the very end.
we do that when we're desperate at the very end, and we turn the paper around and use the other side.
Yeah, best thing would be just anybody that's not a client, no shoes on the paper.
Yeah, so the staff, we don't wear shoes. And then if we're doing family and they're not going to show feet, we just tell them don't wear their shoes. Because if they're not going to show feet, what difference does it make? You know, in Asia, when you go to wherever you're going, they have slippers by the door, and you have to take off your shoes. You could do the same, but yeah.
Do you photograph RAW or JPEG?
Both, RAW plus JPEG. And I have such a big issue with that. I was just talking to a photographer recently in email. I'd asked her to send me some images of her work because I'm going to do something. And I noticed there was a little grain in her images, and I asked if she only shot RAW, and she said yes. And I could tell it was a processed RAW image. And I suggested to her she shoot RAW plus JPEG. So here's my philosophy on that. You know, when you go to workshops and you go to classes, all they do is scream RAW. Like if you're not shooting RAW, you're like less than, right? So, but here's the thing, the lab is not going to accept a RAW, and if you're doing online galleries, they're not going to accept a RAW, and if you're using a retoucher, they're most likely not going to want a RAW. Everybody wants a JPEG, right? So then what is your processing system, post-processing system? You have to process the RAW to get a JPEG. So whether you're using Bridge or Lightroom, something has to convert that RAW to a JPEG, right? And you have to adjust your settings to do that, because the RAW is going to pull everything. So if you have, you know, like I use Kelvin color temperature 5500, the RAW is not going to show that. It's going to, I don't even know what it says. It's not going to say 5500. So I'm going to have to go, and that's why they have RAW presets and things like that, and make all these adjustments. And when you're shooting as much as I'm shooting, sorry, Alex, I'm so behind in time. I haven't even gotten to this.
Because like this was like a yes or no question.
Sorry. Well, because I have to explain. No, this is important. I have to explain why. Because if you set, for me, I set my white balance, Kelvin color temperature, right? I'm usually at 5500. The higher the number, the more red. The lower the number, the more blue. If I have a really jaundiced red orange baby, I'm going to be at maybe 52 or 5300 white Kelvin color temperature. I no longer use gray cards. Nothing wrong with them. If you love them, go for it. I just don't love them for me. So when I have a JPEG, it looks really good. When I have to process the RAW, it does not look good. It does not look good. Now, people can argue with you all day long, and RAW is important. It is important, especially if you screw up your exposure, especially if you're doing competition and you're doing a lot of fine art, blah, 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 blah. I don't need to convince you why RAW is great. So I do RAW plus JPEG and proof on the JPEG, and it cuts my processing time in half. There's the answer.
I lost. Very quick answer to this one. Anna, what lighting system do you travel to a home? Do you use for travel to home?
Well, I don't travel anymore, but I use ProPhoto now. And I don't take lighting system to the home anymore. I use natural light. So if I were to travel to the home, it would only be natural light.
Next question. Let me see. This is, who is this? Hold on. Mary? Sorry, no, I have not set my wedding date yet. Unfortunately, we're still in the visa process, and that's taken a long time with COVID. She also followed up by saying, Anna, guess what? I bit the bullet and hired an assistant.
Who is this?
This is Mary Ann
Steinitz?
Steinitz.
Yes. And aren't you so much happier? Yeah, right?
Hopefully she'll say yes.
Good. Congratulations, Marianne. Marianne came to our baby academy, so I expect nothing less from my academy students.
I'm not sure who's asking. Where can I get a travel floor mat?
For
Don't know.
beanbag, lighting. Okay, whoever asked that.
That was Trin Mai.
Trin. Trin, who was just here, Trin? Trin? Or that was that Min? Trin, I know that name. Trin, the one who was just buying the baby box? Trin, tell me more. What are you looking for? Okay, what else?
Speaking of running your setup, what insurance do you have in your gear?
Gosh, everything. I don't know. I have 3 policies. I have a studio policy, I have a travel policy, and I have a policy for my clothing line. And I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. I know that everything is covered. If I were to lose everything, it would all be covered. So that's important. You want to make sure that you kind of have an idea of what it would cost to replace everything, and then talk with your agent and make sure that it's covered, because there's a lot of photographers that have situations and they have a small policy and then nothing's covered. So I can't tell you my exact numbers because I don't know. I have a fantastic agent that I've had, sorry Alex, that I've had for 10 years. And I'm just very well covered. So, yeah.
Someone says I have that lens on my next buy list, probably the 24 to 70. And they said, let her speak. It's the RAW versus JPEG battle.
It's not versus, it's and. Like, it's not one or the other. I'm saying raw is raw is raw, but add the JPEG. There's a reason why the camera has raw plus JPEG. So just use both of them. Then you can process super quickly on the JPEG, send client proofs to your clients, and then if you need to go back to the raw, you've got it. So I just don't understand why people only do raw and then spend all night processing raw to JPEG. It just doesn't even make sense. Just do both.
Allison said, oh my God, that's why my temp is always 50-50 with RAW light bulb moment. I'm not sure what that is.
Because it
reference to.
doesn't, like if you were to pull your image up in RAW, it's not going to say 5500 color temperature. It's going to say something completely different. I know this because I know him, but most recently when we did our Mother's Day shoot, my son is RAW obsessed, right? Even on his phone, he shoots RAW. He does not shoot RAW plus JPEG. He only shoots RAW. And he would literally take my phone and be like, no, Mom, don't use your phone, use mine. And he shoots in RAW, everything. But he also does video, and he's also really into color grading. And he also strips all his profiles and creates his own. Like if you were to look at his images, and sometimes Alex, it almost looks black and white. I don't even see color in their images. I don't even know what they're doing. But the whole purpose of setting white balance in your session, especially using Kelvin, there's a reason why Kelvin's on your camera, is then you're setting the skin tones and everything based upon your lighting and the baby's skin, and then you can literally, I can cull a session in 10 minutes because I put the RAW in a folder and then I load the JPEG, cull the session, upload it to the client. And it looks great. Doesn't mean you can't use the RAW, you can. I'm just saying, cut down on your production time. That's all I'm saying. Not saying RAW is evil. RAW is great. I'm just saying add JPEG.
And Jessica Porter said, but you're nailing your white balance in camera, yes?
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to fix anything. I don't have time to fix anything. I don't have time. I have to fly to New York and then
On the same line, do you
teach a
edit
class, teach
RAW
another class.
photos or JPEG photos?
Say that again?
On the same kind of topic,
It depends.
do you edit RAW or JPEG photos?
Depends. My exposures tack on, and it's not going on a magazine cover, could be the JPEG. It's for a celebrity, could be the RAW. It just depends.
Trin Mai followed up. I mean, travel mini backdrop.
Backdrop? I mean, there's so many backdrops. Like every backdrop stand or backdrop?
I think the actual backdrop.
I mean, I don't travel with a travel mini. I just have a regular background stand. Are there any mini travel background stands? I use a regular backdrop stand. So like in...
Like the drop itself.
Oh, the actual backdrop.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite vendors are Intuition Backgrounds. They have a travel pack available. Super great. They come in a tube, and they're fantastic. I can even show them to you. And then Bambini Props over in Asia. She has foldable, wrinkle-free drops that I love as well. Well, so does Intuition, I think, as well. Who else do I use? You know who I use, vendor backdrop people. You can post. Those are probably the two that I use the most. Wentz also over in Europe. Are they in Europe? Where are Wentz? W-E-N-T-Z. They have foldable, portable backdrops as well. So, I mean, I feel like every single backdrop company has portable, foldable backdrops. I think Intuition Backgrounds is the only one that has their kind of travel system that I helped create. Thank you very much.
Where do you buy your chucks? Amazon?
Amazon. Can we start going over the whole purpose of this thing now? Can you just ask me questions while I'm talking? Are those all questions?
Yeah. They're not stopped.
When's this from Brazil? When's this
There's
from
not many
Brazil?
left, but the problem is that
It looks great if you're Anna Brandt.
forever to
Listen up,
answer.
people. That's why I teach, you guys. I teach to help you. I have so many resources out there. If you go to bellybabyschool.com, I have classes on lighting, classes on editing, classes on posing, classes on maternity. I have like 50 courses there. If you're a member, members.annabrandt.com. I just uploaded a Froggy video. I have so many resources at members.annabrandt.com. If you're not a member, just join it. You can use code SAVEME for 50% off. I have forms there, contracts, book templates. The first year book template that I created is there. I have members only podcasts. I mean, I don't know how much more information I need to give you. And I teach in person. So I do feel that you can nail the image straight out of camera. I think you can have 98% accuracy. You need to know your lighting and you need to know your camera. Yes, I do. But yeah, Chuck's, Amazon.
very last question.
Yes.
What is the process of choosing the photos by the customer? And you have 1 minute.
Well, if they're coming in person, they go through Lightroom on our Mac computer and P for favorite, and they flag their favorites. If they're getting an online gallery, they save their images in their gallery, and that's how they choose. See? That was easy. All right, we're gonna start going over and then I'll answer some more questions. Because the purpose of this podcast is what are must-have things that you have. Now, I have created a guide. Do you have a picture of the guide that I created, Alex? I have created a little mini guide of everything that I'm showing you today. I put in this guide. It's a free PDF, and you can just subscribe to my newsletter and you'll get this PDF later today. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe so you can get this PDF. If you don't want to subscribe to my newsletter and you're a member, it'll be in the Members Center as well. Those are the two places to get it. Okay, and Alex will put up a little picture. I sent it to you in the email. Alex will put up a little picture and, oh, it should have been right under this banner. It just has, it probably looks very similar because it's the same baby.
Okay. I thought it was just...
Yes. So this guide, I just linked to a lot of these things and I've just written it out. And so I think Alex put up a link to subscribe to the newsletter. You can subscribe.
I'll add more links in a second.
And you will get it by the end of the day. And if you are a member, I will put it in downloads in the member site. And we'll talk about membership at the end because we're in kind of membership purgatory. So we'll talk about that at the end as well. Alex will put it up. So I'm going to go over these things. Alex will put up some links as well. We do have our consultants. If you go to mybellybabywear.com, find a local consultant near you because we've closed our consultant program to new consultants for the year. But we have consultants in New York and New Jersey and India. Falguni in India is one of our consultants. We have them everywhere. Virginia, I think Minnesota. There we go. So this guide has everything I'm talking about today. And if you sign up for the newsletter, you will get a free download by the end of the day. And if you are a member, I will put it in the original members site members.annabrent.com, and we can put a link to that as well. Or you could just take notes while we're talking, okay? If you're purchasing, you want a discount code, members, you get 20%. And you can also, if you're not a member and you're not interested in ever becoming a member, reach out and find a consultant in your state, because the consultants can sell anything at bellybabywear.com, which is my store. They're also leading shootouts. I think there's a shootout this month back east. They're leading shootouts, which means you gather photographers together to help each other and shoot together. And you meet friends. Remember those? Yeah, you can still have those. And we're going to be doing monthly meetups in the new year. And they can get you a discount on any of these products. And all sorts of fun things are happening. My workshop rates are going to be changing. They are going up. Why? Because travel is getting expensive. It's getting more and more expensive. And so my workshop fees are going up. So if you haven't registered for a workshop, workshops.annabrent.com, you should do it before the rates change. When are the rates going to change? Like any minute. Not today, not tomorrow, but probably by Monday, the workshop rates are going to be changing. So now's the time to just get yourself signed up for a workshop. And then you can also learn online. So let's go over some basic things. I'm going to start kind of in reverse, then we'll get to the beanbag. We released my new 10-piece posing system today. And years ago, I think 15, 16 years ago, I think, Alex, one of my old posing beanbags is underneath there. See that round one? Can you give me that round one? I want to say at least 16 years ago. I was pregnant with Ava when I had my own posing set. Yeah. This was my old posing set. And these were there's like tiny micro beads in here. And we had a woman who sewed these. If you're a longtime member, you probably have this set. Well, like with anything, see how these beads just get squishy over time? And it just became too squishy. Then I found this was too slippery. So then we made covers. And these sets still exist somewhere, but we just stopped selling them because the woman that was making them for me just couldn't make them anymore. So we stopped selling them, and I removed these items from my site for years. Gosh, it's been probably at least 5 or 6 years. And then I was like, gosh, it started me bringing it back because I wanted something for triplets. So if you see this picture up on the wall, Alex, can you show them that triplet? Is that too hard? Okay, but it's on my website too. I needed something for triplets when they're on the beanbag. So I actually, during a triplet session, measured 3 babies together and came up with this, right in the middle of session. That's the benefit of having seamstresses a block away, is all of these have been tested by myself because we've made them during sessions. They do not have beans in them. They're very soft and very firm, okay? And they're made of a material that doesn't slip because they should go between your beanbag cover and your blankets, okay? So this was designed for triplets. So I was using it for me, and I thought, oh, I should add it to the store eventually. Well, then along came twins, and I felt like I didn't have any posers that supported twins. So I did the same thing. During a twin session, I measured the area that I wanted twins elbow to elbow, and this is it. And so I've been using the twins and triplet set for a while just by myself, and wasn't even sure if we had the bandwidth to make these, because I didn't want to go to China and I just wanted to make them here. So finally I decided, okay, we have our Bambina, and if you own our Bambina, it's made in a medical facility and it's expensive. I have this medical facility that makes them for me, and it's expensive. And if you own a Bambina, you're afraid of losing it because it's so much money. I've literally lost like 4 Bambinas, and I freak out every time I lose them. And I love the Bambina. It is in our store and it's fantastic. But at any moment, the medical facility could say, we're not going to make them anymore. So I just made 2 smaller soft versions for toddler and children that go in this set, which we used to have before the Bambina. And then we have the other sizes. This is my favorite size for normal standard beanbag posing. And then we have the related sizes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then my favorite item of the day is my new weighted baby blanket. So if you know anything about weighted blankets, you know that they release, the weight on your skin releases melatonin and it allows you to relax, right? Weighted blankets, super popular in the adult world. actually, there is a new swaddle weighted baby blanket that has just come on the market. I was watching them on Shark Tank, and the nurse was like, we know that weight, it's just like putting a hand on a baby's body, just helps soothe them. So there is a new company, and the name escapes me, but you could Google newborn swaddle weighted blanket. And so if you're a parent watching this at home, you could buy a swaddle where the arms are down to the side, and for home use, buy a weighted, medically approved blanket for your newborn baby, and they will sleep, nice and sound. Now, so what we did was I measured how I wanted it to be, because many times when I'm working with the newborn and I put my hand on their back, they relax, okay? The heat of my hand, the warmth of my hand, the pressure of my hand, they just relax. So if I just take my hand off, they jump, right? So I'm usually like one finger at a time. Well, then sometimes I will, put other blankets on top, or the mom will come and put a blanket on top and the baby settles. Well, then when you take it off, the baby's like freaking out, right? So I decided, let me just make my own weighted blanket. So it just goes over the baby's back, and it's just when they're, getting fussy, you can just put it on there. Not heated. I do not suggest anything heated. Just lay it on their back, and they just help relax them, and you can just slowly lift it up. In addition, if baby is laying under the covers or you're not going to see them, you could put this in between the blankets. You could also use it for their feet. You could fold it up. There's a lot of different uses for it. So the weighted blanket is something that I've been wanting for a long time. I had bigger ones, and they were just too big. And so I was like, why don't we have anything small? And so I'm excited about the weighted blanket. So you can find all of this at bellybabywear.com. And I think you need a good posing system. We will be selling these things individually. If you say, Anna, I already have a posing system, I want the weighted blanket, they will all be individually in our store by the end of the night. Right now, just the full posing system is there. And if you just need one, you'll be able to buy them all individually. But I don't like the idea of shoving blankets and towels and everything underneath, because it just becomes a mess. With that being said, I do think you should have a beanbag cover. So normally people say, how many blankets do you use? Normally 2 or 3 at most. I don't do a zillion blankets, but I do use a beanbag cover. Why? Because most beanbags are slippery. This is a slippery material, right? So when you put a poser on there, it's just slipping all over the place. So we actually sell these in our store. They're only for round beanbags. So if you're using a cot or a square beanbag, don't buy our beanbag covers because they won't work. But I put it over, and what's great is I don't have to look for the posers. When I'm working, all I do is put the poser there and put the blankets over, and I'm done. And I don't even have to think about it. Nothing is slipping, nothing is moving, and it's very firm. So if you watch any of my videos, you'll see that nothing is slipping, nothing is moving. I always have this beanbag cover on the beanbag, okay? And then the poser. Now, you don't have to use this beanbag. I like this beanbag. It's from Paloma Shell. I only have one blanket here today, but most of the time I have at least 2 or 3, at least. And these clips. Can we talk about the clips? Okay, the other clips are like man clips. They're like super hard to move, and these are just Amazon clips. I put a link in the guide, but if you search Nemo towel clip or alligator towel clip, you will find them. Kids love them. And I find that they're super easy to use. I originally found them at Kohl's, and then I went back and found them at Amazon. Okay, so those are things that I think you really need. In addition, so I have the white noise and the shusher. Both of these are also available at our store. And when I'm just working and baby's not fussy, I use the white noise. It's very quiet, very soothing, just average white noise. If the baby is fussy, that's when I turn on the shusher. But after a while, this noise will drive you crazy. So I try not to use the shusher unless baby is upset. That's when I put shusher on. But if they're nice and calm, I use the white noise. And so I'll use the white noise as long as I can, and then use the shusher. So I kind of think you need both, my opinion. People say, well, I use my phone. Okay, the problem with the phone is, for me, I kept getting notifications from my kids all day long. That's why I switched to the Apple Watch, so I could see what's going on. But also, I did have a client, I don't know, it was a couple years ago. She said to me, how do you know that the phone isn't transmitting any terrible waves and affecting the baby's brain? And I was like, I don't. And I never used my phone again after that because I was so freaked out. I was like, I don't. And I'm not going to wait 80 years for a study. So I just don't put my phone near a baby. And so then other people will go, well, I use my phone and I use it on a Bluetooth speaker. That's fine. Or they'll say I use my phone and I keep it at a distance. That's fine as well. You don't have to get a white noise or a shusher, but you know, I just feel like it drains your battery and all that other stuff. These are Chucks. They're not puppy pee pads. Chucks, you can find them on Amazon, and they have no scent in them, and they're just like medical grade Chucks for bedwetting and things like that. The puppy pee pads have a scent, so you don't want anything with chemicals. And it's just if baby's naked and I'm sitting on a yoga ball, then I'll usually put a Chuck on my lap. I use it in between. If I'm trying to get baby naked, I'll tell mom, go ahead and undress baby completely naked. Let's say baby's screaming bloody murder and you know you're gonna do naked next and baby's gonna feed. Just strip the baby naked and then we wrap the baby in a Chuck. Mom feeds the baby in the Chuck. What's gonna happen? Baby's gonna knock out and then he's naked, so you don't have to worry about it. And then he's gonna pee, so that's why you have the Chucks. If you have nothing else but this and a yoga ball, where's my yoga ball? You're good. I work with a yoga ball. People ask me all the time, what size yoga ball? When you go into Amazon, put your size in there. And you want to do it based upon your height. Because if you're really short, you need a shorter yoga ball. If you're really tall, you need a bigger yoga ball. I thought mine was 55 centimeters, but then I went to Amazon and found that it wasn't. But if you go into Amazon, so I'm 5'3", and you should sit nice and comfortably. Now, when I'm working with a baby, I'm wearing yoga socks, so I'm wearing no-slip socks. I give them to my students in all of the clinics and workshops. They get no-slip socks, so I don't work in shoes. And then that way, I don't slip. And when I'm bouncing on a yoga ball, I'm bouncing very lightly. I'm always holding the baby's head, so the baby's head is not bouncing. You're not meant to rock or injure or harm the baby in any way. It's just when you're holding them nice and tight, instead of standing up doing this, you could relax your core and just do this. It's the same thing. It's just you're more relaxed, your energy's more relaxed. Now, I do wrap on the yoga ball because if baby gets fussy, I'll just kind of start bouncing and wrap on the yoga ball. And people will say, Anna, my boobs are too big or my belly's too big and I can't wrap on the yoga ball. Well, then wrap on the beanbag as well. And, you know, do whatever makes you work. I like the yoga ball. So if I had nothing else, I would need this, my beanbag, a good bowl, and a good bucket. Now, I use beds, I use prams, I use props, I use all sorts of things. But I need a good bowl and a good bucket. And I am amazed at how many studios I go to and they don't have a good bowl and they don't have a bucket. I don't know why. So I'm gonna show you my bowl and my bucket and show you what I mean. So.
Can you give me a sec so I can actually post the links?
Yes. Yes. And I'll get the bucket too.
So I'm posting links to the posers. I think I just posted it on YouTube. I'm going to post it on Facebook now.
I used to have to repaint my buckets. They're kind of a mess.
Now here is the beanbag cover.
Oh, I'm going to get the Modest Little Me poser too.
White noise. Shusher. Did you show diaper covers? I'm not sure if you did.
Ah! I did not.
So I won't post
No,
that
no, you
yet.
can do it. I'll
Okay.
get them.
So the only ones left are diaper covers, wraps, wrap sacks, and a good bowl. So I'll post the diaper covers next. And here is the bowl link.
Okay, so diaper covers. People always say, when they see a baby with a sheer outfit or a white outfit, they'll say, are you worried the baby's gonna poop in your, in your material? And I say, well, the diaper's on. And they're always amazed because they can't see the diaper. So a diaper cover, we have them in many different skin tones and many different colors. White, black, pink, brown, gray, blue, purple. And then I think there's 5 or 6 different skin tones. And so I work with the diaper on the whole time. The only time I take the diaper off is if I'm gonna do a nude set, and that's it. The rest of the time, baby has a diaper cover on, and we tell parents, go ahead and feed, and then get the baby dressed, put the diaper cover over the diaper, then get the baby dressed, then I wrap baby. So if you don't have these, you gotta have them. Like the days of putting babies naked in newborn outfits just don't even make sense anymore. They just don't, because if you do it to their skin tone, you don't see it. So in every picture you see, if you just go and look at my work, I use a ton of white and cream outfits. You don't see the diaper. So you have to have diaper covers. You have to have a good wrap. This is the Rapida in our store, and it's a good stretchy wrap. You should have this in every color ×3. I mean, you want a good, just average stretchy wrap, and then you can do whatever you want after that. So we have these new wrap sacks that are in our store, and the purpose is you put the baby, once the baby's wrapped, then you slide them in this sack, and you wrap around and wrap around and wrap around and wrap around. And if you're on YouTube, just go to my channel, and there's videos using the baby wrap sacks. And we have them in many different colors and styles, and it makes wrapping so much easier because you wrap them in a base wrap and then slide them in the sack wrap, and it's super fun and amazing. Bowls. So the thing with bowls is I'm amazed how people do not have deep bowls. You need a good deep bowl. This is my favorite because it's like 5 to 6 inches deep. And this is another one that I like. It's a little more shallow, but I would not have less than this. And so many times I go to people and they don't have a good bowl. They just don't. And I'm just amazed. And so I feel like you just need a good bowl.
Someone asked, what color is that dark bowl? I have not seen it on your website. I've been looking for a good brown one for months.
Ah.
You can't hear me, but
Oh, so they've been trying to find this bowl and it's not in my website? It should be. It should be. I will find out the color of this bowl. I think it's, yeah, I don't know, but you can email me. Yeah, email me and say, Anna, what's the color of your brown bowl? And I will answer you because I don't know. So I'll find out. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I literally have to look it up, so I don't know. Okay, bucket. Well, and we have heart bowls and moon bowls and star bowls and all sorts of other bowls. Bucket. So this bucket's so beat up. It's probably due for a new coat. But we don't have these in our store anymore, huh?
no, they should be back.
So we do have buckets in our shop. But what size is this bucket?
That is a 10-quart bucket.
10-quart bucket.
Bucket.
Bucket. You want a good bucket. And then I use the insert from Modest Little Me. And this is from just search Modest Little Me. And I use it inside the bucket. I love her item. I use it every day. And I put a 10-pound disc weight in here. So you put the 10-pound disc weight so that it doesn't fall over. No, it's 5-pound from Amazon. This goes in the bottom. And then you've got the bucket poser and your bucket. I feel like
Someone's asking if this is a bowl named Chubster Round Rustic Wooden Dough Bowl.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm going to leave this out because I feel like we need to take that to New York.
Yay.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of suitcases because we have maternity in Central Park. You know how I am with my gowns. And we're making a new gown right now. And you're going to love this one.
So excited.
I know you're excited.
For the
Alex, we have
travel.
our cocktail at the airport. Everything is okay. Everything is okay. All right, so these are what I think the must-haves. Also in the guide I wrote, what I think is kind of silly, when I go to someone's studio, they don't have weights or gaffer tape. I don't know why. So if there's anything your studio should have, it's weights. I know this sounds so silly, but the last 3 studios I've been to don't have weights. They're taping the backdrop. They're putting shoes on it. I don't know why no one has weights. Just have weights for Alex, if you just show the paper. And then what you could do for the portable backgrounds is you can have smaller weights that they use for underwater. I'll show them to you. They look like this. Sea pearls, 2 pounds. See these? So these are great to have. You can put them in buckets. When you have the portable small backdrops, you can put those on there. So we have a bunch of these. We had gotten these for underwater. They go in my weight belt. And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's been so many times that these have come in handy with small portable backdrops. So they're 2 pounds, and know that the flat disc weight in a bucket is 5 pounds, okay? The other thing that nobody seems to have is gaffer tape. I don't know where a gaffer tape is, Alex. I put a link in the guide, but I am amazed. People use Scotch tape, masking tape, and I'm like, why don't you have good old black gaffer tape? So you got to think like a photographer, and I feel like sometimes when we're doing newborn photography, we're so focused on the baby that we're forgetting about photography 101. And having gaffer tape, Alex, you should put this in your bag for New York. Don't you feel like we always need this in New York? You were? Like every time we travel, right?
Try to remember to.
I'm going to leave this stuff in the chair for packing. Every time we travel, we look at each other, where's the gaffer tape? It's just ridiculous. Was there a time where you had taped a couple of these to like your tripod or something?
Yeah, because they stay sticky even after you've already stuck into something. So I'd, like my tripod or my monopod just had lots of little strips all over it.
It's like so stupid. It's like these are just things that you need. Are just basic things. Like if you have your light on a light stand, you should have weights on it. And if you have paper, rather than taping your paper all the time, put weights on the paper. You never know when I'm telling you, gaffer tape is like, I'm literally putting it in our packing pile because it's like number 1 on the list.
Do you ever repeat props, meaning baby wrap sack or outfits?
During a session?
Don't know.
Yeah, but maybe change the outfit or change the wrap. Yeah.
Where do you get your weights from?
Amazon.
Because it never fails. Someone always trips over the front of the paper, so I tape it down for safety measure.
Yeah,
So no
us
one
too.
can trip over the paper.
Us too. And if you have gaffer tape, tape it down with gaffer tape.
No, I
But-
wouldn't tape it down with gaffer tape.
Why not?
Gaffer tape's expensive just for that.
All right. Well, just whatever. But yeah, but I'm amazed that people don't even have tape. That's what I'm saying. It's like tape or weights or just like, I kept thinking today, like, what are all the basic things that when we get somewhere? Changing tables. I'm amazed at how many newborn studios I go to don't have a changing table. And then I turn around and the mom's like changing baby on the floor. I'm like, oh God, after 50,000 people walked over there, I wouldn't want to change my baby
I
on the
just
floor.
thought
What?
of something else that's
What?
they must have.
What?
Your cart.
Oh yeah, we can show my cart, Alex. If you wheel it on over here, just yeah. I think everyone has a cart like this. But you really shouldn't get in the habit of putting things on the floor. You really shouldn't. So if you're working and you don't have a cart, I try to put things in a bowl or a basket. So like if I'm at someone's studio, I try to, well, I use packing bags, but I'll usually have a bowl and put everything in the bowl. Try to keep things off the floor. People are walking on the floor. Floors are so dirty. So yeah, this is just a typical cart. I think this one's from Michael's because it's extra wide. And I have my fabulous Home Depot clips because I use these for maternity. So these are super important. So we have these. And we have little cups that we can put things on. So many times we'll put the pacifier in here or my phone. We have sanitizing spray that, see, Estella had to use gaffer tape because I've dropped this sanitizer spray about 55,000 times. My camera's sitting right here. We have wipes, bubbles, hair clips, weights. We have a tape measure because I'm always making things in the middle of sessions. Like these posers. I'm measuring and doing it right in the middle of sessions. Lint roller because I'm on video all the time. And so Alex is always like, Anna, clean yourself off because I'm usually covered and a mess. Scissors. Just be careful if you have kids around. You probably shouldn't have these here. Band-Aids because I burned my hand this week. So we've been on Band-Aid patrol. Bobby pins. If you know me, you always need bobby pins when you're dealing with fluff. And we have these little tiny weights from classrooms. Who got these? You, Alex? They're from a classroom supply, right?
Yeah, I think I found them at a classroom supply store in Los Angeles somewhere. Like you have to be a teacher and you get a discount
use
if
these
you
all the
buy if
time.
you shop there.
We use
It's
these
just
all
a
the
supply
time.
shop.
Yeah. We have a phone in here. It's good to know. Chucks, posers, all sorts of things. My bambinas are in here. Yeah, all sorts of things. But, it's just your cart. So, a couple of weeks ago, Estella wasn't feeling well, and I had to do a newborn all by myself. No Alex, no Estella, nobody. And I was on my own. And so that cart was like right next to me, man. I was just like, oh my gosh. It was like Estella. So yeah, you should have a cart. Just get in the habit of not putting things on the floor. I'm amazed at how many people, when I go there, they just have things on the floor. I don't understand it. Because if you're a mom and you're bringing in a baby, I'm gonna put all this stuff because we're packing. You would not want your stuff to be on a floor. You just wouldn't. So I do not recommend, next time you're in a session, if you're using a bunch of stuff, just get a big basket and put everything you need in the basket. And if I'm working on the floor, I'm in socks and I'll just put everything I need in a basket. Did I forget anything, Alex? I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. I don't think so.
In terms of essentials,
like must-haves. People say, where do you start? I want to be a professional newborn photographer. Where do you start? You just start one baby at a time, you guys. One baby at a time. I started shooting my nieces and nephews, not doing a wrapped newborn session, just shooting them for fun. And then when I became pro, I just kind of had like a side gig where I would just shoot whenever I could. I was a web designer before a photographer, so I built my website, and then I started shooting child models, and I would just keep going. I mean, you have to just start somewhere. Do you need all this to start? No, but it would help. I'm amazed how I see photographers, they have like a $400 camera bag, but they don't have posing beads. They don't have things like this that are tools. They're like shoving washcloths. I'd much rather skip the $400 camera bag and have posing aids that are much better. And people keep asking if there are beads in here. There are not beads in here. It's a very firm material inside, and it's very firm. There are no beads, and there's nothing shaking. So I had a couple messages asking if there are beads. I was like, no, it's very firm. Tested by me, let me tell you. I'm very particular. Went through a lot of prototypes to get these. I think I just got my lipstick on that. Any other questions before we wrap it up?
yes, lots.
Lots? Do I have to sit? Okay, I'll sit down for this.
Which studio strobe light best for newborn photography?
Alex, can I have the big chair? It's not like one is better than the rest. So I use a PLM umbrella. I will have Alex show it to you. Alex, you know what I found the other day? Oh, where did it go? Estella.
Gone again.
I literally found the diffuser cover in a bag. Remember we were looking for it? And I put it on there. No, yesterday.
I know, but we found it that day. We put it on.
Oh, well, but I found another one. But I don't know where she put it.
Well, it's probably back where we found it.
No, it was in the cart.
Yeah, because I think that's where we put it after the.
Oh, I was all excited. Okay, so Alex will show you. I use it. It is. Stella puts everything away. Okay, Alex is going to show you. I can't stay much longer, guys. It's already 3:30. You're showing them the PLM umbrella. It's a shoot-through PLM umbrella. Now, I have Pro Photo lighting, but you can use any umbrella. Shoot through is meant to shoot through. I do not use bounce back. So as far as lighting, look, we have Alien B up there because my Pro Photo bulb died. And so we had to pull out an Alien B. I brought it to Utah and it broke. I was really bummed. We were hoping to have the new bulb before we went to New York, but it doesn't look like we will. So we'll probably have to take, Alex, we have an Einstein at the studio or the other studio. So is it only Alien B's over there? So we have Alien B, Einstein, and Pro Photo. Does Evan have it?
Maybe.
So we'll probably take to New York the Pro Photo and the Alien B. So again, it goes back to budget. If you've got the money, Pro Photo is fantastic. It's UV coating and it's one of the best lights on the planet. And I'm a Pro Photo ambassador, but I'm not just saying that because I'm an ambassador. I use it every single day, and I lug these. That's why I have a broken bulb, is because I put it in my suitcase and take it with me. And I like that it's cordless. Alien B is very inexpensive, and they can tend to break. And I've had mine catch on fire twice over the years. Einstein, a little more reliable, but some people have had Alien Bs 10 years and say they've always been reliable. You get what you pay for. You have a $250 light, you have a $4,000 light. I mean, start somewhere and go along. You can start with Alien B, you can go to Einstein. I'm not a fan of Godox. If you're listening, I'm sorry, because they're super strong. They're so strong. Every time I have to use a Godox, I just don't, because they're so powerful. I'm shooting at 202.8. So you want a light that isn't so powerful and so strong, because I need a tiny bit of power. On an Einstein or an Alien B, the power is all the way down. On a Pro Photo, on a scale of 2 to 10, I'm usually at a 3.8 or a 4. That just goes to show you how little power I'm using. So even with maternity, on a scale of 2 to 10, I'm probably only a 5 or a 5.6, or even with family. The only time I'm full power is when I'm doing backlighting, and I don't have to be. And I'm backlighting full power at a f11. So if I have half power, I'd probably be at 5.6. So light is light, learn how to use it, and stick with your budget.
Let's try to keep these
I know.
answers shorter.
Where's
Por
my
favor.
Emmy music, Alex?
You would have been cut out so long ago. Is there a link for the poser in the bucket? No, because it's not ours. But
Oh, the poser, Modest Little Me. She's
Yeah.
she's one of our.
I know, but I don't have a link for it.
It's modestlittlemeboutique.com. Can you Google it? She is one of our ultimate vendors. We love our ultimate vendors. So, Modest Little Me Boutique. So she is one of our ultimate vendors. We are big supporters of our ultimate vendors. So if you go to members.annabrandt.com, you can see who our ultimate vendors are. And if you want to be an ultimate vendor and you want me to brag about you, I will. We have information on our members.annabrandt.com. But yes, Mallory is fantastic. She's a hard-working businesswoman, and I can even look her up. Did you find the link, Alex?
Yes.
Okay. Shout out to Modest Little Me. I love working with businesses that know how to run a business, and I think she is one of them. Becky over at Intuition Backgrounds, also an ultimate vendor. Retouchup.com is an ultimate vendor. Madras Props in India, also another fantastic vendor. Wentz Backgrounds, Bambini Props. I should mention our ultimate vendors. Let me look them up, and I'll make sure I'm not missing anybody. I would like to do a vendor showcase and showcase all of our vendors on like a special newborn vendors showcase. So I'm trying to do that this fall, where I just kind of highlight all of the vendors and all of their products. So Ababa Baby Props is where I get a lot of my felted layers from. And you can go to members.annabrandt.com, click on Ultimate Vendors, and see this list and all of the links. Maybe put members.annabrandt.com. Bambini Props that I mentioned, Becky Myers Intuition Backgrounds, Click Props for their gorgeous backgrounds that Lauren has designed. My friend Hanita Props over there in Italy. I go to Italy in November. I really love Hanita, has all those little felted props and amazing things, and I've tried felting and it's horrible, so shout out to her. Lauren from Lemon Sky, I use all of my actions, or lsp-actions.com. Those are really the only actions that I use. And so all of my newborn skin, any of my maternity skin, she just developed these gorgeous overlays that I posted on my Instagram. Alex is playing music. I'm reading the vendors, Alex. Lauren Sky, can't say enough. I think she's one of the most brilliant women in the planet. Check out her actions, her overlays. We did a bunch of digitals last year for Christmas. I'm sure we'll do some again this year. Madras Prop Store in India, fantastic.
It totally sounds like an Oscar speech. Like,
I know.
And I want to thank.
I know,
this
and I want to
this.
thank. And I'm hurrying as fast as I can. I just feel like I need to say, because they're all ultimate vendors. They've invested a lot into supporting me, and I think it's important to say who they are. I'm opening up my India tour. We are going to India, Alex. I've been talking with Falguni the last week of June.
Are we gonna go further than the
Here we
airport
are.
this time?
Just wait, wait. Did I not post it on my shoot? Wait, Alex. I feel like
that last time
I'm winning my
we
awards.
landed at the airport. The hotel was next to the airport, and we were gone in 24 hours.
Wait, what?
The last time that
India?
I went with you. Yeah.
No, Alex. We're going to Delhi. Oh, I can't say these
Delhi.
names. Delhi. See, I can't see these names. Delhi, Chennai, Chenai. Then Mumbai, and then Goa. Thank Evan for that one. Evan said the beaches are beautiful and he wants to do some vacation in Goa.
Wait, so we're doing all this in one trip?
Yes, but we're going to be gone like 10 days.
Okay, have you looked into the travel between
Falguni's
locations?
taking care of it.
Okay.
So it's going to be over 10 days, and we're only doing a day in each city. So it's,
Traveling by road, by car?
well, by cow, I don't even know. I worry about that part. But we'll be there enough time. That's why we're doing it the last week of June to early July, because it's my slowest week of the entire year. It's hot as Hades, yes.
It's gonna be
I know, I'm so
so
excited.
hot.
Evan's already told me
Do
how
I
hot
have
it's
to
going to
go?
be. Yeah, you have to go. Because
go
Evan's
during the
coming, and Evan, well, you know, Mr. Evan, we'll have his attention for like 30 seconds, and then he'll be on to something else. So I'm probably going to open it in the next 24 hours, and then it's going to sell out. So we only have so much time. Wait, can I go back to my ultimate vendors? Mimosa House, Mike Pang and his fantastic wraps and furs. Modest Little Me, I've already said Mallory. Paula Michelle, hello. We couldn't do anything without Paula Michelle's beanbag, who I met her in Brazil. She's now moved to the state. We're going to be doing a workshop at her studio next year. Retouchup.com, because anytime I don't feel like retouching, I go to them and they're amazing. Of course, Sandra and Brandon, Stand and Baby, because they're amazing, and Wentz Background, Wentz Store. And if I've missed you and you're an ultimate vendor, tell me. And if you want to be an ultimate vendor, just go to members.annabrandt.com, and you too could become an ultimate vendor, and I can talk good things about you as well. And you can become a member over at members.annabrandt.com, and I believe many of these company have discount for our members as well. Got it.
Where was your first studio? Living room or garage?
Living room. I could tell you the transition. I started outside, like everybody. My living room, and when I mean living room, I had a 1,500 square foot condo in Huntington Beach. So my living room is smaller than the set that I'm on. Okay. Then my terrace. That's where I shot all of my child model headshots, the best light ever. Then downstairs below, because we were second floor, there was beautiful property in our development by the pool. So I shot there. I'd say beach was a big part of it because I was in walking distance to the beach. From there, a year later, we bought a house, and I was in the living room in my house, and we had a lot of property in our house. So I had a garden. I was gardening at the time. I had a garden. I had this little mini bridge. Oh, I have some great pictures of the kids. Oh my gosh. My favorite session on this property was I brought an air mattress out, full-on bed, and emptied 2 pillows, Alex. I know, I'm sorry you missed it. 2 pillows with feathers, and the girls did a whole feather shoot. Took us like 5,000 tries. It was gorgeous. And I had feathers all over my lawn for about a month. And then I'm working on it, Alex. I went to my garage. From my garage, I rented a teeny tiny 300 square foot corner of space in a camera place, a Tustin Camera, where they shot passport photos. And that's where I did my first amazing nude maternity work. Yes, yes. Belle from Disneyland was a client, and she was fantastic. And I shot her in space, barely bigger than this beanbag. And I paid $25 an hour. And I remember at the time, my session fee was $125. And I had to pay them $25. And each roll of film was $25. And so I thought, okay, the only way I'm going to make any kind of money is if I do this shoot in an hour. And I use 1 roll of film. And that never happened. So I was pretty much negative almost every photo shoot, which meant I had to have good IPS so I could have good sales to pay for everything. From there, I went to a 500 square foot studio. Oh, I did move in and out in a studio with a girl. I talk about her all the time. And that lasted a few months. I was pregnant with Olivia. And then before I had Olivia, I got a 500 square foot space. I think I paid $515 a month right here on Irvine Boulevard. And the fair is in town.
I saw it.
Yeah. And it's right across from my first studio. And I remember buying a bench. And when the fair came to town, the fair people stole my bench. Yeah, true story. The fair is back after 2 years.
Let's go get it back.
Let's go get it back. And then this Old Town Tustin, I would drive around dreaming of owning a space, or renting a space here. And finally, one day, my dream came true, and I moved from a 500 square foot studio to a 2,500 square foot studio, became a 6-figure photographer, and never looked back. And if you buy my newborn book that is over 200 pages, this is all in there. You can buy the audio version for I think like $20, and it took us 7 hours to record the audio for this book. And everything I'm telling you, you can listen to right now. Go to bellybabywear.com and my book is there. Everyone's like, oh, you wrote a book? I wrote a maternity book and a newborn book. I have audio for the newborn book. I never did audio for the maternity book because the maternity book has so many photos. I felt like the audio wasn't going to do it justice. You can buy physical versions of the book, PDF versions, and you can listen to my voice for 7 hours if you really want to hear the history and the journey of my newborn photography.
Can you just
Stop
pin
touching.
it to the top
I don't think
one?
I can, Alex. I don't think I can. I think you're just going to have to deal
pin
with
it on the top one.
Do you hear it in your thing?
Yes.
Listen,
like
Alex.
constantly, and so does everyone.
Can
probably.
I have like a sticky microphone or something? This thing weighs as much as my shirt. Maybe something that sticks
It's
to my
fine.
body.
It sounds so much better now.
Okay.
How do they get washed? I was probably referring to something you should.
Oh, our posers?
Maybe.
I
That
mean,
was a while ago, because
you don't really need to wash them. We can make covers them, but if you put them underneath
20
your
minutes into this
blankets,
question.
you shouldn't need to. But you could probably throw them in the washer. They're just foam filled and they would dry.
Do you
Yeah,
s-
because you can wash a pillow. It's the same thing. Throw it in the washer and then dry it, just like a pillow. You know, I washed all the pillows in my house the other day, and they're all made of the same material. So throw it in your washing machine. Yes.
Do you sell your products at your studio?
Not really. The only thing I have right now is the mohair wraps, because we have them in stock from The Darling. There's another link for you, thedarlingbaby.com. If you look at any of the mohairs that I use in all of my sessions, those are being made for me in Slovakia. And thedarlingbaby.com, link, Alex, code BABY,
What was it?
thedarlingbaby.com. And this is in the guide as well. Use code BABY to save you 20%. It's all of the mohair wraps and bonnets that I love that are handmade. Those are here in the shop. Everything else is sold at our Belly Baby Wear Studios, which is a block away. I also have a satellite studio that I rent called Belly Baby Studios. You can rent my satellite studio if you want. We can put a link for our satellite studio as well. And the satellite studio is right next door to our store. So sometimes people who rent the studio will go and borrow props from our store.
Why a shoot through and not a bounce back PLM?
Because I feel that the shadows are way too harsh and strong for my personal taste. Look at that.
Wow.
This has turned into Q&A, so we don't have to
Yeah.
do Q&A for a while. It's because we haven't done Q&A in a while, so now we're kind of doing Q&A. Yes, Alex?
How do you prevent naughty siblings from messing up the studio or props?
Naughty siblings. I love naughty siblings. I've had a few naughty siblings of my own, the ones that I've birthed. You don't. You're a baby photographer. It's just part of the game. I mean, I have bins of toys and things, and every once in a while I'll just throw out all the blocks and buy new blocks. I'll throw out all the trains and buy new trains. Clean up the kitchen dishes and get all new kitchen dishes. I mean, you know, it's like being a parent. I mean, this is a second home. I've got to keep things clean. I've got to keep things sanitized. Oh, we should talk about my sanitizer. I have to replace things. I have to repaint things. It's a living, breathing studio, and you've got these little tiny humans that are 2, 3, 4-year old, and sometimes they're naughty, and we've all been naughty at one point or the other. So you got to just have the love. I love kids. I really do. As naughty as they are, I think they're some of the most amazing beings in the planet. They're unfiltered, and they're raw and real, and it is what it is.
Can you suggest props for twins? They are now 8 weeks old, preemies. One of the twins had surgery, and now I need to shoot their quote unquote newborn portraits, but not sure about posing this age.
I think what I would use, I like my Pottery Barn beanbag a lot. It's what I use for most twins. I would probably use my Pottery Barn beanbag, and I would use my Paloma beanbag. When I do twins, probably 90% of their session is in the beanbag, because you can't put 2 twins in a bucket. When I do bucket, I put a twin in each bucket and just shoot them next to each other. I'm working, and when I say working, it's still in sketch mode. I want my own twin baby beds. I have some ideas for that. So I haven't found amazing, good twin props. You just find big things, big baskets, big double-sized baskets. You know, you go to Hobby Lobby and they have those really big baskets that you say are way too big for a newborn. They're usually good for twins. Crates are good for twins because they're wide. You need things that are wide, right? So crates are really good. Wood crates, apple crates.
Do you feel your business flourished more once you had a business location, or did that even matter?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so. Did it even matter? I wouldn't know. It's one of those things you don't like. If I stayed in my home, would I still have this kind of business? Maybe. I think that the challenge with any business, you know, I'm obsessed with Shark Tank. I've watched every single episode times 50. Right now I'm obsessed with The Profit. I love business shows. Like I'll watch any type of business show 50,000 times. I don't really watch DIY shows, and I don't really watch a lot of TV, but any show on business. Marcus Lemon right now on The Profit. I'm obsessed with his new season. Whenever you watch these businesses, I'm really obsessed with just watching and reading and learning about businesses in general. They start out of the garage. They start, you know, one of my clients, they make candles, Value Spa candles. I remember when Value Spa came to me with her first baby. Gosh, I think she's like a gazillion-dollar company now, probably $5-10 million company. And Tracy, I remember shooting her first pregnancy, and they were making candles out of their kitchen. I mean, she has a store in Fashion Island now. She's Oprah's favorite things. If you search Value Spa candles, she's everywhere now. And I'll never forget when she came to me, pregnant with their first, and they had this little teeny tiny candle company in their kitchen. And now, you know, they're in every boutique in the world. I've been in Italy and I see Value Spa. They've opened up retail stores right after a pandemic, by the way. They are worth, you could Google them, zillions of dollars. And now they have 3 daughters, beautiful daughters. And I've photographed all their daughters. They're amazing. And I've watched Tracy's business grow over the years. And so I could say to Tracy, hey, Tracy, would your candle business Voluspa have boomed in her kitchen? It could have. She's a very talented woman and designer. But why does it have to, I think is the idea. You've got to decide as a business owner, whether you're a man or a woman, or a kid, a teenager, it doesn't matter. What is it that you really want? When I started doing newborn photography, I wanted to photograph newborns. I absolutely love babies. I love children. I love it more than anything in the world. Could I have kept a viable business working out of my home? I'm sure I could have. But why? Because with every baby comes a new idea. And it comes a new mission. And I have so many things I want to do. So many. Like, my list is endless. Alex knows every day he walks in and he just looks at me. He's like, well, what did she come up with now? Because I can't stop. I can't even shut it off anymore. It's just stupid. And it's fine. I shouldn't have to. So why limit yourself? Why say, I feel like people ask that for a couple of reasons. You may ask that because you may say, I don't have the finances to go to a retail space. That could be one. It could be, I don't want to go in a retail space because my kids are fill in the blank. Special needs, younger, they need me, they're homeschooled. I want to be home. Fill in the blank. I want to work out of my home, my garage, my shed, my yard, because why? And then be comfortable in that answer. And usually the answer is because you truly want to, or because you have to. So if it's because you truly want to, because of fill in the blank, whatever reason why, then be comfortable in that decision and be the most successful you could be. You could be a $5 million company in your kitchen. You don't have to have a retail space to be a 6-figure company. You don't have to. Especially if anything the pandemic has taught us, we can work out of our home, right? I mean, I was watching some show recently where, you know, the anchors from The View were filming out of their home. You look like they were, you know, filming in a professional studio, but they moved the equipment in the home. So look, COVID-19 has taught us you can work anywhere. People are leaving countries and working out of basements and recording podcasts in their closet and going on Jimmy Kimmel, and they're in their pantry with headphones on. It is absolutely possible. You could write books and screenplays and be in your garage in your pajamas. So yeah, I think the answer to that question, now I go on my tangents, is yes, you can, but do you want to? And that's what you have to decide in your career. What is it that you want? And it changes daily for me. I mean, the other day I was talking with Ava, and she wants a horse, right? And she's 16. She wants a car, too. I'm like, well, we can't do both, right? So then we started talking, and I said to Ava, you know, boarding a horse is so expensive. Maybe we look for a house where we just board your horse on our property. Because what's the point otherwise? You get a horse that you have to go visit. And are you really going to visit? And if we board it at someone else's property, now are we going to go visit that horse at 11 o'clock at night? No. So we're going to spend $4,000 or $5,000 to board a horse, and we're going to see it like 5 hours a week? Or what if we moved into a place and we got a home? Maybe we went smaller in the home and got a smaller home because I don't need a big home anymore. And we get a smaller home and we have a horse on the property. And Ava's like, oh my God, I love that idea. And then when I'm in college, I could sit out and do my homework in the barn. And I was like, yeah. And then even the next day she came to me and said, Mama, maybe we don't buy a horse right now. Maybe I just lease a horse right now, because what's the point of buying a horse I can't see? And we just started, the ideas just started going, and it went from, I had a pouting teenager a week ago who wasn't getting a horse to, wait a minute, do I have to have a horse now? Maybe I lease a horse and really understand what it takes to care for someone else's horse. And then I understand the kind of horse that I need. And then when I do get a horse, how much space does the horse just need? How big does the stall need to be? Do I need to have a handy guy to clean the stall every day when I'm at school? And it just goes on and on. It's the same in newborn photography. So you say, let me work out of my home and see how much space do I need. Look at this set that I'm on. This is 12-foot wide paper. I conduct entire family sessions on 12-foot wide paper. You don't need a 2,000 square foot studio. I'm content working in a 12-foot wide space, and I could work a 9-foot wide space. And then I could say, I could literally work in this space forever, or I could say, well, I want a clothing line, and now I want another building, and now I have a studio rental, and I want a podcast. The other day I said to Alex, oh, when we get our next studio, can I have a recording room where I just walk in the room, turn on the lights, and everything's set, so I don't have to deal with microphones, and I don't have to deal with sounds of our Drobo network, and I don't have to deal with the phone ringing and our ring system. And he's like, yeah, that would be so nice. That would be so nice. I would love to just have a little tiny, it could be the size of a telephone booth. I don't care. I just need a quiet space that I can go and record. And so you've got to allow yourself time to grow and allow yourself time to imagine what you could have. And then decide, what is it that I want to do? And at the end of the day, stop wanting for things you can't afford and stop overspending your budget and strip it down to the basics. Everything I showed you is not a lot of money. If we add up everything I've showed you, it's not a lot of money. And forget about all that other stuff that you don't need and you don't use, and get rid of it and focus on just the core of your business, and then you can really grow anywhere. And that was a long-winded answer for a question, I know, but I felt like I needed to say it, Alex. And I'm already way past our time. It's already 4 o'clock.
I think this deserves a little sound effect.
Look, anyone that watches me live knows I'm going to go off on a tangent. I keep saying I need my own TV show, my own video show, my own little creative live for Anna Brand. But then I get tired of hearing myself, and then I don't want to do it. But one day.
Next question that you can answer in literally one sentence, probably. Are you coming to the Middle East? Dubai, maybe?
Yes.
And we have.
January, Dubai.
Workshops.annabrandt.com.
I think is it sold out?
I don't know.
Yeah, January I'm in Dubai. I think it might be sold out. And Egypt. I think Dubai is sold out. I can find out. Workshops.annabrandt.com. Dubai, January 15th. There's one left for Dubai.
Go, quick.
Go. And then we go back to the desert. And we're also going to Egypt. Super excited about Egypt. Super excited. Okay.
Does your beanbag cover work for newborn photo props beanbag?
If it's round, probably, yeah.
Depends on the size, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You are awesome.
Thank you.
Hello, this is great. I just joined on the stream. I love this mentality.
Yes.
Thank you very
We
much.
got to do more YouTube lives, Alex.
Huh?
We just have to do more YouTube lives.
Yeah.
I know, we say it every time we do it.
I don't know what this is, but yep, got a 10 by 14 formal dining. I'm not sure what dining table. Probably when you're talking about studio and your
Yeah,
dining
you know,
room.
I just came back from Virginia. I had to think for a second. And Sandy Williams' studio is fantastic. She's this big, beautiful home. And it's so funny because the taxi driver kind of got lost. And then we're in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, what are you doing out here? I'm like, I don't know. I'm teaching a class. And he's like, you must be pretty important for me to be taking you all the way out here to teach a little newborn class. And I just started laughing. I'm like, I don't know. I just think no one else is doing it. That's it. I don't think I'm that important. So it's funny because Sandy Williams has a big, beautiful house, all these huge homes. And her studio is downstairs. And I was like, oh my gosh, you could live down here. And she's like, oh, well, my son lived down here for a couple of years. She had a kitchen, a bathroom. She had 2 shooting areas, a prop room, an office area. I did a video of it on my Instagram. Maybe it was a story. And we had a maternity clinic there. I slept at her house, something I rarely do. I think I've done that like 3 times in 10 years. And the next day I was like, oh, I just went downstairs to work. I was like, and when I needed something, I'm like, let me go to my room upstairs. I was so comfortable in her space. I actually had lunch with her afterwards. If you know me, that's rare. I even said to my son, he was asking me something. I'm like, I'm actually having wine in the middle of the day and I'm having lunch with another photographer. He was like, what? Where? Why? You never do that. I don't really socialize. And so it was, that's a compliment to Sandy that she made me feel very comfortable, very at home. And I didn't want to leave my room. And I was like, oh, you could have a thriving bit. If I was there, I wouldn't leave. Why would I get a retail space? If you're doing $1 million in that studio, not saying she is, but I'm saying, let's say I was, why would I go anywhere? I would be like, I was like, maybe I'll do this one day. And then my newborn sessions at 8:30, I wake up at 7:45, put coffee on, make brownies. I mean, I've been in some fantastic home studios. Some of our consultants that I've been in their studios have, in Florida, I've been in fantastic studios. And so, yeah, I mean, sometimes I get jealous because I'm like, oh, just go downstairs. It was actually kind of nice in COVID when we were quarantining in my house. And I kept telling Alex, come over. And he's like, I know, we're in quarantine. I'm like, I know. I'm in quarantine in my house. Come over. He'd like sit on the other side of my house. Remember, Alex? You were like 20 feet away from me. He did not want to come over. And then it was pouring rain and we're filming the summits. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was fun. I actually really enjoyed working at home.
Jessica Porter is saying,
Jessica.
I still need my hostess email for next month, and no pressure after everything she just said about her previous hostess.
Yes, Jessica, will you email me and I'll respond?
So don't be offended if
Where
she
does
doesn't
Jessica live?
dine with you.
Where am I going? Oh, is she Oregon? Is that Oregon?
I don't know.
Jessica, is
Jessica,
that
where are
Oregon?
you?
I think that's Oregon. Is that Oregon? I think that's Oregon. So bad. I look it up like the night before. I have to book my
Yes,
flight.
for Oregon workshop.
Yay. Yeah, Jessica, I know. Will you email me and I'll respond? Yeah.
You are so motivating. Thank you. This is Milani.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mallory says, so most may not realize, but over here at Modest Little Me,
Oh, hi, Mallory.
my personal office, crafting, serving, packaging space is a 9x11 room.
Wow. Wow.
So push for your dreams in all capital letters.
Yes, Mallory. Yes.
Even if you don't think you have the perfect space,
Yes.
I mean, I should probably, hold on, I need to load the rest of the comment. I mean, I should probably have given up my large home gym, and a bunch of little.
But Mallory, you look
emoticons.
fantastic. Have you seen Mallory? Her body is like rocking. Don't give up that gym. With a body like that, don't give up that gym. I need to come to your gym. I need to work out a little bit. Yeah, Mallory, you're awesome. I think Mallory's a single mom too. Yeah.
And she says, "Hello, my small workspace has become my comfort, and I feel in the zone, and I have my workflow."
Yeah, and then it's like you feel good because your kids are in the home, right? They feel good because mama's in the other room and they don't feel like you're leaving the house. I do some of my best work at home. I have a crafting area at home. And it's funny because like a week ago, the car was coming to get me for the airport. And I heard Olivia say to Ava, Ava, Mama's crafting. Her glue gun is on and the car is outside. I heard her like yell it down the hallway. And I heard Ava go, what? She's crafting right now. She's got to catch a plane. And I was laughing so hard because they'll see my glue gun is on. And when you come in the house, I have a crafting area to the left and all my dried flowers. Those of you who were crafting with me last week, I burned my hand doing it. And well, it was at the studio. But my son I know it's a comfort when he comes home and he sees my crafting area open or when I'm doing something. And my son said years ago, I think he was like 10 or 11, and he said, Mom, when I'm home, I want you to be home. And I said, well, like anytime? And he's like, yeah. That was just his thing. He's like, I like you home. And so many times I bring my work home at night. I craft at night. I've done all kinds of things at night. What?
Single mom of 4.
Single mom of 4. Yeah, hats off to you. I have entered the single mom workspace, so I know how hard it is. And yeah, I think that there's a comfort to it. I think there's a comfort to, you're a mama first. You're a mom first. Ava's doing her homework right here. She came after school today. She was supposed to babysit, and babysitting was canceled. And so she said, where should I go? And I said, well, come here, and you could do your homework here and take me to my hair appointment. And so I think that we're your priorities. I have raised my kids by my side. They have seen me work at home, in my garage, on location, in other countries, in my studio. They have seen me everywhere, schlep my stuff. I mean, they've seen it and they know that they have the power to do anything. And so what is your desire in life? Do you want you know, I have this space in town, but we don't get a ton of walk-in traffic. Not a ton. It's rare. I have been a moving force in the center of this town because I've been here for so many years. And so when I was many people don't know, but before the pandemic, I was going to sign on a 10,000 square foot building. I said yes, and I gave a 60-day notice to this space. And nobody knew that except my staff. And something in my gut told me not to do it. And it was a dream space. We were going to build a podcast room, and Alex was going to have a space, and it was a dream space. And we had spent 2 years researching this space. And I woke up one day in panic mode with tears in my eyes that I could not move in this space. And my building manager, Brett, came over, and he was like, "What's wrong?" And I think I was like 30 days into my 60-day notice. And I looked white as a ghost. And he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, I get choked up just thinking of that moment. I said, "I can't move." And he was like, "Okay, well, you don't have to move." I was like, "But I already gave my notice, and have you rented out my space yet?" And he's like, No, we haven't rented it out. And if we did, I wasn't going to rent it to another photographer anyway. And I was panicked that day thinking he had rented it out just to anybody. And I was like, "I can't move." And he was like, "Okay." And he didn't even need to know why. And I did not know why. I knew that something deep in my gut told me no, and I did not know what it is. And it was so strong that I couldn't do it. And part of me felt like I was giving up a dream, a reality. I have so many dreams. I want a baby academy in person. I want a school. There's so many things that I want. And I felt like my dreams had been squashed, and I did not know why. I didn't have an answer. And then 30 days later, the pandemic, COVID-19 happened. I could literally get emotional just saying that. Listen to your gut. There's a time and a place for everything. And my world came crashing down. And my life has not been the same since. So you've got to do what you're comfortable doing. And that may be one thing today, and next week it may be something completely different. I'm in a completely different space than I was in a year and a half ago. My life is completely different. And if someone would have scripted this out and told me what my life would be like right now, I wouldn't have even believed it if I read it in a manuscript. So you've got to trust your gut. I did a podcast that's released on my iTunes called Feeling Inadequate. It's the first podcast I released in a year because I did not want to hear my own voice. And I released it. It's there. Just search Anna Brandt on iTunes. And I talk about my feeling of inadequacy and why I stopped doing podcasts for a year. We have another podcast dropping on Monday about not requiring permission, that you don't need to permission to go do what you are born to do. And so your motivating factor is what? Maybe for Mallory, it's to create a thriving, sustaining business and be able to raise 4 children as a single mom and be in the best shape of her life. That's important. And she's doing it, and she's crushing it, and she's fantastic. And so I want to surround myself by people like that. Becky, over at Intuition Background, she has this huge property, and she's built this amazing business and thriving through a pandemic. She survived it while raising children. There's men and women success stories all over the world, but you've got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what is it that I want? It's got to be, if you're going to photograph newborns and you want to specialize, or maybe you want to do maternity or children or dogs or pets or whatever it is, you have to find a way to do it and be successful at it and do it on your terms, not on someone else's terms. COVID-19 has taught us that you throw out the manuscript and rewrite the next chapter. Any last remaining questions?
Yes, just a few.
I've got clients that are going, call me. I'm checking on my order.
This is related to the space.
Yes.
I have a studio, just started renting out about 13 by 13, small space, but I feel I needed it. My problem is now that I don't have the clients to where I need the space because of no consistent clients. What to do?
Can you read that to me again? I'm sorry, my other daughter texted me. Say that again.
I'll just paraphrase. I have a 13 by 13 space that they thought they needed, but now they're not getting clients to where they actually need it. What should they do?
She got a retail space.
Yeah, they're renting
and now she has a space, and you're worried about paying rent, and you need clients. What about? Is it in a town, What about creating an event, an open house event? That's what I used to, that's what I did. So when I moved to the center of town, I went from a 500 square foot space to a 2,500 square foot space. I went from paying $500 a month, comfortable, to 2,500 square foot a month. Talk about being uncomfortable. And I was like, oh my God, I have to pay rent. So I had, oh gosh, that's when I did Girls Night Out. That's when I did open house events. Oh, we had so many events. We had crafting night, BYOB, bring your own wine, and we sat and crafted. We invited vendors from the town. We did massages, we did eyebrow waxing. I remember we had a pampered chef girl. So you invite the town criers. Who are the town criers? The women that are successful in your town. The women that are selling whatever they're selling, oils. I don't do network marketing anymore, but if you're doing network marketing, you are probably somebody who is comfortable in marketing. So find those women. Find the Pampered Chef women, the Rodan and Fields women, whatever oils, whatever everyone's doing, and invite all those women because they've got a good network of people, and do business night out, mom's night out, dad's night out. You could do free photo session for the day. Oh, I could spend 5 hours on marketing. Don't get me started about that. I've got a million. Go to bellybaby.school.com. I probably have 4 or 5 marketing courses on all the things that I did. Use code LEARNMORE to save 50%. There's another link for you, Alex. I have a zillion courses on this subject. Someone else will write it. I could literally mentoring. I mean, you could sign up for mentoring so you know. I mean, I do mentoring. Other people do mentoring. Oh my gosh, there's so many ways to drum up business to your space. So many ways. You got to be the hustler. You need money? You got to hustle. You got to hustle. Too many times people want to be in the comfort of their own home and you just want to, or the comfort of your own studio and you just want people to come to you, but you got to hustle. You got to hustle all the time. Right, Ava Brandt? You got to hustle. Did you do all your homework? No? I thought you were doing your homework in there. You're doing it right now. Do you have a lot? Oh, she has a lot of homework. Taking a break, stretching your legs?
That's pretty much it for the questions. There are just a bunch of comments,
Okay.
like hello from Namibia. Someone replying to Modest Little Me about some reindeer ears you're getting. Someone said, "Oh wow, that's deep. I love that." And then who is this person? Let me see. Julie, I'm taking your baby academy next week.
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
so
hi,
excited to learn
Julie.
from you.
Hello. Hi, Julie.
That
You're
comment
going to
about
be in this space, Julie, 4 days. Pack your cozy socks. No, I'll give you socks. Pack your comfortable leggings or something because
And
it's
your
going to be
camera.
work. And your camera.
and batteries and charger.
And batteries and charger.
Someone forgot their charger last workshop, so make sure you bring a charger. That person about the space replied, "Thank you. I would check out your mentoring program. I suck at marketing."
Girl. Is it a girl?
I think so. Her name is just Miss Thang, 384.
Miss Thing?
Miss Thang,
Miss Thing 84?
384.
384, Miss Thing 84? 384? Girl. I've been marketing for 22 years. 22 years. I remember when I had Ava, I think Stephanie will testify to this, I had the highest number of sales in my store at that point in my career. I had record-breaking sales.
Real name Christy. Real name Christy.
Christy. I had record-breaking sales within 24 hours of delivering via C-section my 3rd child. I remember Stephanie going, "Oh my God, like your sales are blowing up," because I had marketed my ass off because I was going to have a baby and I needed like a week or 2 to have a baby. And yeah, of course, this was before other people were selling maternity gowns. Nobody had any of that. I was one of the few people, and I just marketed. And yeah, it was insane. I remember Stephanie coming to the hospital with work. Stephanie and Tiffany have come to the hospital a couple of times with like work in their hands. And yeah, I remember when I was diagnosed with my iron issue and I was in the hospital for like 7 days getting transfusions and all sorts of things. And I mean, Tiff had to come by my bedside with like work because I had been marketing so much, and they were like freaking out because I couldn't do half the work that I had marketed. But yeah, I can market. I don't have a problem marketing. You've got to pay the rent. I got to pay the rent. I've got 3 rents. You got to pay the rent.
She said, "You're my inspiration. I try to market, but can't seem to get the hang of it. I love to talk to people, but suck at marketing."
Yeah, we should have some Skypes then, because if you go to workshops.annabrandt.com, I have Skype mentoring. You should do some Skypes because I can talk through it with you in Skype. And usually when I do Skype mentoring, within a few minutes, I can give you enough ideas to fill a notebook for sure. Anyone who's done my Skype mentoring knows I just get on and I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. Let's go. Let's do it.
Any new speakers for the summit?
Yes. Wouldn't you like to know? I've been trying to send an email out about the summit for like 2 days. I did just add a speaker. Her name is Kate. And she is going to be, she works for Facebook. She works for Facebook. And she is doing a keynote on Facebook marketing. So what better way to get marketing than to be in a room with somebody who works for Facebook? Oh my gosh, I have a Zoom with her today at 5. I was like looking at the clock. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a Zoom with her on my own Facebook issues at 5 o'clock. Oh my gosh. That's why I was like, what time is it? Oh my gosh. It's
14,
today,
yeah,
right?
we gotta,
Yes, Kate.
we've
Skype.
been going for like 2.5 hours.
5 o'clock. Oh my gosh, I'm so behind. I got 5,000 emails to return. I have to finish the model, so we're gonna have to wrap it up. Yes, I have a Skype with her at 5 o'clock for my own issues. But yeah, so Kate is going to be doing Facebook marketing. And I'm hoping this weekend, because it's still the old price. So I'll close. Look, there's no more questions. Can I close? Okay. So I'll close with some key things. So those of you who don't know what we're talking about, thebellybabysummit.com. Thebellybabysummit.com. I'll put all this in the guide. If you sign up for the newsletter, you'll know. So many people don't sign up for the newsletter. And there is, in YouTube, there is a community tab where I'll quite often write a note to my followers. So I will put this in the community tab as well. We can put a link to sign up for the newsletter because I send out newsletters like 8 to 10 times a week. I do what I preach, people. What is it? What's that? There's a quote. Something that I practice what I preach. I practice what I preach. I send out a lot of newsletters. And I love the people that are like, unsubscribe me. Oh, there's an unsubscribe button on the bottom. Do you really have to email and say unsubscribe? Just unsubscribe, dude. Just unsubscribe. If you don't want to hear from me, unsubscribe. I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I can't worry about those people that don't want to hear from me. Just unsubscribe. So, or subscribe so you can receive this information. So I'm going to rattle off a bunch of URLs. Thebellybabysummit.com, we are doing in person, and it is next May in Los Angeles. We've already listed our starting speakers, and I'll be adding Kate to the lineup this weekend as well. She did just send me her headshot. And we'll be adding more speakers along the way. But the old price is still up because the registration is going to be higher. So the registration is the lowest it'll ever be, and it's still up. And it'll be up probably through one more email. And when I send out the next email of updates and finalize the location, the old price will go away and it'll be the higher price. So you should check that out. And if you are a member of Anna Brandt, you do get $100 off of the registration fee, the low price that it is right now. So you should check that out. And it's an in-person event. So if you want to, I don't know, meet other photographers, get out of your house, put on some clothes, put a bra on, you should check it out. The membership, so members.annabrandt.com. Members get 20% off of our store, bellybabywear.com. And we're in basically membership hell right now. So I've had members.annabrandt.com for a long time. And I don't love the back end. It's very clunky from an admin standpoint. It's just, I'm not a fan of it. So then I created AnnaBrandtOnline.com using Uscreen format that I really loved and was populating it with a ton of videos. But I found that it was not very user-friendly because I can't have a discussion forum on that site. I can't easily have pages and links and menus. And so now I'm in this purgatory. I'm in this quandary. Like, now I have members on Anna Brandt Online and I have members on members.annabrandt.com, and I don't like either platform. So people are emailing me from Anna Brandt Online to get access to members.annabrandt.com because I just uploaded the live from our maternity. We did a maternity nude workshop at my studio on Friday. How long was that recording? Do you remember? And I uploaded it to the members.annabrandt.com.
Just a little over an hour, I think.
So it's a really good live to check out. And I uploaded that Froggy video, and I have some members-only podcasts, and I'm getting ready to do some more. And so you just have to be patient with me because I don't have my 8 students anymore, and I'm hiring new. So while I'm in this staff transition, it's just me answering emails. People are like, why isn't anyone answering? Because it's just me. Why isn't anyone answering emails? Because it's just me. Because if I'm on a plane, I can't answer emails. Gabby handles support at AnnaBrandtOnline.com for the store. So product questions, store questions, that's support at AnnaBrandtOnline.com. That's Gabby. And Gabby works Monday through Friday. She's off on the weekend. Everything else is me. The other day, someone was like, why isn't she responding to emails? I'm like, I'm going as fast as I can. And she's like, oh, I thought it was someone else. I'm like, nope, it's all me. I have like 10 email accounts. It's all me. I handle all my own messages, all my own DMs, all my own social media, all my own websites. There's nobody answering for me. And I'll even sign my name and people think it's someone else signing my name. It's all me. My 8 students are all back in school. Liv came to help me out yesterday. She was packaging up client. We sent out 20 client orders, thousands and thousands of dollars in orders. Liv helped me package up. So Liv's been helping me from college until I hire a new staff. So be patient with me. It takes me a little bit of time to get back to email. I'm not in my email. I also am a big believer in time blocking. So if I'm working on something, I shut off email and I shut off Facebook. So I'm not in email. So sometimes I'll post on Instagram and then someone will DM me, why didn't you respond to my email? Well, because I'm not in email. But you're on Instagram. That doesn't mean I'm on email. And if you talk to any person who time blocks, you learn to shut things off. If I had Facebook on, email on, Instagram on, and YouTube on all at the same time, I wouldn't finish anything. I close the browser, I close the email, I close certain things, and I block out time. So if you see me post something, even to my clients, they know I'm not going to respond right away. So I just need your patience. And also, all the times I do respond to email, it goes to people's junk. And then I get yelled at, and then I have to screenshot what I sent. And then the person will, well, I didn't get it. Well, I did email you. I did, but I can't be responsible if it goes to junk. So please check junk, please check spam. Members.annabrandt.com. We're doing a membership drive because we're in just membership hell. So you can save 50%, and you can get a lifetime membership, which we remove from time to time. You can't buy a lifetime membership all the time. I take it down many, many, many times because it's such a good deal and you never pay another membership fee again. So if you're thinking of doing it, you should do it now before it disappears again. And then I don't even know what I'm going to do with the membership sites. Right now, we're just bouncing back and forth until I find the perfect solution. You're just going to have to tolerate me. Podcasts, we're back to our weekly podcasts. And I think I covered everything. I don't know. Belly Baby School. And the photographers group. We have a photographers group. It's Facebook groups/Tiopan, which used to stand for the Art of Pregnancy and Newborn. And we have over 32,000 photographers in there. And that's where I post updates. I pin them. And people still don't know. We just opened up a North Carolina workshop. I know it's not sold out, but a couple seats did sell recently. New York, there's some seats in spring. Some workshops sell out super fast, so if you want to do them, you just got to get on it. And I think that's it. Reach out to me, Anna@AnnaBrandt.com. If you have a question. I'm not a big fan of DMs. I get them. I try to respond to them, but I don't respond to all of them. So email is the best way. And then just be patient. Just like you want your clients to be patient when you respond to them, I ask you for the same respect, to just be patient and understand that I'm not purposely ignoring you. And sometimes things go to my spam as well. I try to check my spam at least every other day. And that's it. So thank you for watching this long-winded webinar/live where we talked about must-have items for newborn, and then we went into Q&A. So you got 2 webinars in one. I'm no Marie Forleo, I'm Anna Brandt, but I gotta tell you, I'm striving to be the best I can every single day and just try to be a little bit better than yesterday. I hope you have a successful journey in whatever you do. Don't compare yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. And hopefully I will see you soon.